Hello and welcome to episode 24, The Body. So I've been reading two books at the same time, and I'm going to tell you all about them and some discoveries I made. So this one is The Food Pharmacy by Jean Carper, and the other one I'm reading at the same time is 10 Essentials to Save Your Eyesight. So I started reading The Food Pharmacy first, and then I switched to 10 Essentials to Save Your Eyesight. Because you know what? I know all about food, and I know the healing benefits about food, but I don't have the specifics, and that's why I read books. And I read books that are written by or compile research and studies by people who are in that field and the medical field and people who know that you can heal your body with food, because that's what it's all about for me. Mind, body, and spirit. Mind, have a healthy mind. Feed your mind so it's healthy. Body, have a healthy body by feeding it proper foods and exercising that body and making sure the body gets the rest that it needs. And then, of course, spirit, feeding your spirit the wonderful, whatever it is. I think creating the qualities in your life that make you vibrate high. So bring that spirituality into your everyday existence. So that's why I developed this. That's why I'm in the process of developing this mind, body, spirit video series, because I just want to help people, and especially for people at this time when we have a virus on the loose. It's a time for people to really pay attention to what they've created in their life, whether it's from love or fear, and how can they keep supplementing their diet the way they want to and make sure that they are getting the foods and the nutrients that their body loves and needs, and how they can eliminate distress on their body by feeding it improper food. So today I'm talking to you about how amazing your body is. So your body is really amazing, and it will always tell you when a food doesn't agree with it. And I'll give you an example. So a couple weeks ago I was told to cut wheat out of my diet and to cut caffeine out of my diet. I used to drink decaf coffee, but I found that I couldn't even drink it because I've become so sensitive to caffeine. Like, I just don't need it to feel really good, and I find that it makes me fatigued, even though it was decaffeinated, not decoffeed. That's a joke, a commercial about it, coffee. But I heard to stop drinking coffee, and I thought, well, okay, because I'm not really enjoying it anyways. Like, it doesn't give me that feeling that it used to. So it's just a signal that my body no longer wants and needs it. So cut that out, and haven't looked back either. I don't drink caffeinated tea either. I drink rooibos tea, which is it's African red bush tea, and they make chai teas with it too, but I just was drinking rooibos tea, which I really like. And it feels good to drink it because I know it has anti-cancer it has anti-cancer properties in it, so it'll help eliminate cancer cells in your body. It's what I read, and it's what I feel like my body needs right now. So cut caffeine out of my diet. I also heard to cut wheat out, and I had cut wheat out because I know gluten in wheat products causes inflammation. I know that because when I cut it out, no more inflammation, and I was feeling sore again. I was like, oh, what's different about my diet? Hello? I had just let those wheat products creep back in because, I have a young man, Zach, in my house, and he likes to eat, and he likes some wheat products, so I make sure that they're on hand for him when he wants to have a snack. But I found that it creeped into my diet because I was being lax about it, and I wasn't paying attention to what my body wanted and needed. So when I heard from my food guide, to eliminate wheat on my diet, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I will tell you that I had 2 occasions where I let it creep back in. I made vegan waffles, I think like a week ago, maybe it was on Saturday, like a little less than a week ago. And immediately I got a rash on my face. It was like something was trying to push out of my body. And that's what rashes are, and skin conditions. You have some impure product, some property of something that you've taken in, and it's trying to push out your skin, okay? So rashes are not a bad thing. It's an alert to you that something is not quite right here. It's a chemical imbalance in your body, and you're meant to help push that out by drinking like live filtered water. So live water is water that hasn't been killed, like distilled. not killed and distilled, right from the tap. And then to filter it, I use a charcoal filter, and there are other filters on the market. I use a Brita one just because it's easy and convenient. You can buy them in 5-packs, so you never run out of filters. So my water is from the well on our property, and it tastes really good. And I know it's good for me. And if there's any impurities that come through because of the piping is, old from the late 70s, so, there could be something in there, right? Like microbes, I'm hearing. So it eliminates those toxins. So when I drink it, I know it's fresh, I know it's healthy, and I know it's pure as I can get it. And then I read about reverse osmosis, how reverse osmosis, when you have it on your tap, it actually takes everything out of the water. So then you actually have to remineralize it to put minerals back in if you want that. And so that's just something to consider if you've been considering that for your water supply system. So what have I been learning about that I want to share with you? I have been learning about food and how amazing it is for your body. Take example for carrots. I heard to indulge in 1 carrot a day, and some people say, oh my God, if you're watching your sugar intake, carrots have lots of sugar, but carrots have a lot of properties in them that are monumental in terms of healing. Did you know that carrots actually have agents in them that actually fight cancer cells and stop the cancer cells from growing in your body? It just is like, it creates a barrier. And so just by adding 1 raw carrot to your diet a day can help put your body into healing mode. And if you've ever heard of that guy, Jack LaLanne, he cured himself from cancer by just juicing carrots. And he actually has like a Jack LaLanne leaf juicer now and everything. So, people, if you have the idea, or maybe you can check in, then it's easy to check in with your body. You close your eyes. So close your eyes and ask your mind to tell you how many cancer cells are in your body, and you wait for the answer and ask for it in a percentage. And I heard my body has 1% of cancer cells, and they said that's because I've been eating potato chips fried in canola oil, and canola oil at a high heat becomes carcinogenic, and you ingest that, and so then you create the free radicals in your body, in your cell. And if you don't have something to eliminate those free radicals, they kind of bounce around and they attach to healthy cells and they make them sick. So in that way, you create unhealthy cells. And then if you have a diet that's toxic enough, you will create more unhealthy cells than healthy cells. And the healthy cells don't have a chance because they're outnumbered. And then that's how you end up with a body like that. Now, I'm getting that for young people, which people don't understand about the cancer thing. They've been living in an environment that's been thriving with this sort of energy. So the energy could come from an unhealthy environment, shouting and yelling in the household, negative energy, that down the genetic line, that sort of energy of negativity down the genetic line, and of course eating dead food. Now, dead food is food that's been over-processed or overcooked so that it has eliminated all of the nutrients, the micro and the macronutrients from the food. Lots of micro, most of it micro that you need in your body, right? So it's something to consider when you're preparing food, and especially when you're buying food. And I read in one of the books, I think it was the one, 10 Essentials to Save Your Eyesight, that organic foods actually have higher amounts of vitamins and minerals in them than the non-organics do, because the soil has been depleted from a lot of the minerals that are normally present in the soil, which transfers to the food that's growing. So if that has been depleted in the soil by, overworking the land and killing all the weeds with chemicals, then you know that that's probably not a very good place to grow food that has a high nutrient value. This may sound like doom and gloom, but there is hope on the horizon, because you're meant to pay attention to what you eat. You're meant to pay attention to what foods you put in in your body, and especially you're meant to pay attention to how the food makes you feel. For example, I succumbed to some of that Easter candy. It's not even Easter yet, but I did, and I overindulged, and my body was like kind of weird that day because I'd worked out really hard the day before, and I still had the next day I could feel my metabolism was high because I just wanted to eat everything in sight, which to me is not a bad thing, but depends what I'm reaching for. And I bought these these chocolate Easter eggs. For me and my son, I thought, oh, we'd enjoy these. Well, oh my God, Mom enjoyed them too much. And the next day, I actually felt how my body felt from that. It felt sluggish. It felt tired. It felt like he was like pushing through mud. That's how awful it felt because I'd been doing such a good job cleaning it up from caffeine and wheat. And of course, you know, caffeine does have chocolate in it. I mean, chocolate does have caffeine. Other way around. So I was like, and then I, you know, stopped the next day. I didn't eat those. Okay, I had two, but it wasn't like the amount that I had the day before. And then the day after, I felt like I was back to my normal self. Now, when I was indulging in the wheat products, I noticed that my skin looked really puffy. It looked unhealthy. It was like kind of mottled and weird. So it's just showing me that there's something in wheat that my body can't handle. And in that book, 10 Essentials to Save Your Eyesight, the author explains why wheat has become not fit for many humans to consume because no, and it's not because of the whole, you know, people who are celiac. It actually, he said, it's because of the way when the wheat is transported and the way it's stored before it's actually processed, it starts molding, and so the mold is in the wheat berries, and the mold is there when it's processed, and so even if they wash it, there's mold still present on it, and so as it gets processed, that energy is in there, and it's actually making people ill. And I can see it when I look at people who are in a grocery store, a bulk, like I feel like it's like between 60 to 75% of them are on a heavy wheat diet. They look unhealthy. They have pale skin. They're puffy. They're overweight. They just don't look healthy. So that's that's a sign, right? And also for people who have like chronic fatigue, they don't understand why they're tired. The bodies aren't getting the trace vitamins and minerals that they need. It's because they're eating over processed food and food that has pretty much eradicated any thing healthy that's in the food. So you have to be really careful what you put in your body and I always say this, treat your body like it's a science experiment. What happens when I take this in? What happens when I no longer eat this food that was making me tired? Or I heard, you know, a voice in my head that said, cut this out of your diet. And you're like, oh, that seems like too much work. Because that's what I hear from people. I don't want to do that. That's too much work. I enjoy my food. But their body isn't enjoying the food that they're eating because you can see it. You can see it in their weight. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in their skin condition. You can see it in their energy. They're just not energetic. They're not happy. So another wonderful point in the book, Food Pharmacy, I was reading about, and I know this, it's all about gut health. And so gut health is really important because if your gut isn't healthy and it's not moving food through properly, your body can't actually absorb the nutrients in the food that is in there. They said not really. You can't effectively absorb the nutrients as well as it could if you have a clean and healthy gut. But more important than that, your gut needs healthy bacteria in there. So where do you get gut-friendly bacteria? From fermented foods. And if you're lactose intolerant and you can't handle yogurt, you can get coconut yogurt. The guides say that my guide says it's not as good, but it is as important. They said sauerkraut is better because sauerkraut is fermented and the cabbage is also really good for you too. They said cabbage is non-carcinogenic, so that if you have carcinogens in your body, that'll help clean them out. So, fermented foods can be anything. Oh yeah, pickles. I'm yawning. Because I've been working on cleaning out my gut health, so I bought some sauerkraut, and I had bought some coconut kefir. So kefir is also a fermented product. Usually, it's often made from milk, but you can get it from coconut milk. And what else? Pickles. I was told to have a pickle a day. So I've been doing that. I didn't have my pickle today, but I've been mindfully adding these things. And so my gut, since I stopped the wheat products, my gut is flatter and my waist is decreasing. Because that was the last part I really needed to release some fat on, right? And probiotics. I'm clearing as I talk. Like I'm clearing issues about my gut health as I talk to you, which is really wonderful. So if you ever yawn when you're talking to someone, I used to think that it was a lack of enough oxygen, but it's actually that you're clearing old emotional issues. And as you talk to them and you yawn, like I'm doing now, I'm clearing issues about my gut health. And they're telling me too, that my guides are, and your guides, that gut health has a lot to do with feelings of envy and jealousy. And so if you ever feel that when you're looking at someone, you think, oh, I don't like that person, I'm jealous of them. I encourage you to take a moment when you get home or you get to quiet space, maybe even in your vehicle. You sit there and you close your eyes and ask, where is this energy coming from? And I can guarantee you'll find that it's actually coming from you. So there's something in you that needs to heal, that requires healing before you can be actually happy for other people that you see or sense as successful. So that's just something thrown in there right now. So another thing I read, and I love this. Oh, I'm still clearing. Oh, they said the gut health. So I want to try to stop saying so, but I keep saying so. I guess it's just don't make it an issue, right? Don't pay so much attention to what you're trying to clear because it'll actually be cleared just because you're thinking of it. The thought helps create the wealth of clearing I hear. So, yes, so now this is amazing. This was from the book The Food Pharmacy. Tannins are present in certain things that you drink, and they're present in red wine predominantly, and high in wines from certain regions. For example, wines from the Bordeaux area, I think I read in there, wines from Italy are high in tannins, higher than the ones that are produced in Canada and the States. So tannins are very important because they can help eliminate a virus in your body known as herpes simplex. And this is amazing because I had no idea. So sometimes everybody has the herpes simplex virus in their body, but for some people the energy comes out, and it often will come out on faces and lips. So there's an emotional component about that virus, that it has to do with anger. And sometimes it might not even be your anger, it's someone else's anger that's trying to push out of you. They're trying to get you. But it's always a past life thing, and it usually is bent on, I know this sounds bad, this may sound bad to you, it's bent on making you look bad, making you look hideous. And so if you have someone, maybe a family member, who doesn't like you and wants you to look bad, they might send you the energy to push that out of your lip. And so when you're in the public eye, people are like, oh my God, they're contagious. But the thing is, with the herpes thing, you're not really contagious in that everybody already has that virus in their body. It's alive, but some certain circumstances will bring it out. Now, the cool thing about tannins in wine is they actually will help heal that. So the author in the book said that he felt a cold sore coming out, and he was learning about how tannins in wine can help make the body resistant to the herpes simplex virus. So he put a dab of like wine on his lip, and he said immediately he felt it go down and it disappeared. And so I'm like, whoa. And the last time I had a cold sore trying to come out of my lip, I said, I'm not doing this. And it went away. That's how fast it reacted. And I like that about our bodies, because when you're vibrating up here, you can be like, wow, that's cool. Did you see how the light changed in my room? Isn't that cool? Like, what happened there? I think Spirit has a hand in that. That's pretty cool. Don't you agree? So tannins in red wine. Now, I haven't drank red wine for a year. I had some on my birthday last year. And so I'm feeling perhaps it's time to crack open a bottle of wine. I just don't like the alcohol in it, because I find that it dulls down my brain, my mental activity. It makes it like slower. So I don't really like that. But I always had this idea that when I become, I don't know, maybe wealthy or something like that, to have a glass with my evening meal. And that's something that I'd like to incorporate. I just really just don't like the alcoholic content. But alcohol is good in small doses because it actually is a blood thinner. So if your blood tends to be thick and sluggish, that is good. You can do it with bitters as well. I'm hearing, they said not really. They said that's more about digestive health, but they said it will work in unison with that, so it works on both things. And another thing, I knew this. Another thing I read in that book, Food Pharmacy, about cranberries. Now, I love cranberries because I didn't really understand how they were produced, how they were grown. So they're grown in marshes and they're grown on a low bush. And they take a season and a half to be ready to be harvested. So they grow, and then the next year they harvest them. And what they do is they flood the bogs, and then they send a harvester in that pulls the berries off. It looks like a combine, and it pulls the berries off, and the berries float to the top, and then that's how they harvest them. So it's very, very interesting because cranberries are native to North America, and cranberries are amazing, amazing healers for urinary tract infections. And what they found in their research was, it didn't matter if the cranberries are fresh, the juice was fresh from the cranberries, or if the juice had been sitting on a shelf in a store that had been bottled, it still had the same effect on healing urinary tract infections, in that it just healed it. It healed that whole urinary system. So if you're prone to urinary tract infections, make sure that you get pure cranberry juice. That's the best. That's the most potent. And it dissolved my whole myth about juices on the shelf. I just thought they didn't have any healing components in them. I thought that the nutritional value had been removed from them, because I was taught, like, I bought a juicer years ago, and I was taught, when you're juicing, and this was in the juicing Bible, that juice was only good for 20 minutes after you juiced, and after that it lost its, or the nutritional quality and value of it decreased. So what they're finding, though, in scientific studies is that with cranberry juice, it's not true. And I also found out too that, and this is from the medical medium, he channels medical information about people's body. He's a body reader. And he said that berries don't lose their nutritional value, blueberries, when they're frozen. So, that's another great thing to add to your diet. Blueberries are really good for helping heal your eyesight. So I really know, I feel, and I understand that we can heal our bodies pretty much from anything with food. And it's my passion to help you understand that, and to give you some information, and to feed you this information, so that you'll go out and you'll read, maybe you're going to read that book, The Food Pharmacy, or maybe you're going to read that 10 Essentials to a Healthy Eyesight. Just let me see who wrote it. It is Edward Conrad. And he actually has the whole, the method that he uses to help people heal their eyesight. He actually helped a person heal his eyesight. He was blind in one eye, and he helped that person heal. So there's proof out there that people, and he's from the States, there's proof out there that people can heal virtually anything. I mean, if you look at Dr. What is his name? Why do I have this? Why does this happen to me? I'm not supposed to read. I'm not supposed, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He fractured his spine in 5 places. He opted not to have spinal surgery. He went home and was laying in a bed for months. And he actually healed his spine using his mind. Like, isn't that amazing? Our minds are so powerful. Our bodies are so powerful that we can virtually heal everything when we want to. And, the funny thing is when I talk to people about healing and about food, this, not the people, not you people watching, right? But like people who just, your average, I call them the average bears out on the street. They're just not interested. They're not interested in releasing weight. They're not interested in getting rid of their pain, aches and pains, because that's how they identify, and they think that they have this for the rest of their life. So they own it. So I'm asking you, what do you want to own? What would you like to own? Would you like to own like a really nice car, your body? Would you like to shape it the way you want? Then just change your diet. It's as simple as that. And be honest with yourself, and be harsh. If there's something that you're eating that's not healthy for you, eat it in very small proportions to the really good food that you make. And I'm going to be starting to share some recipes that I use, because I'm primarily vegan, and I've released a lot of weight, like 60 pounds since I started, and that's been just a little over a year now. And as I go through this, I noticed that I'm more psychic. I'm kinder. I'm a nicer person to me and my son, and it's a ripple effect, right, to the people that I come into contact with. I in some ways I'm harsher in terms of how I want to shape my body and how how I feel at the end of the day. But I'm handing this to you. Here you go. What kind of body do you want to create? What kind of health do you want to have? And what are you going to do about it? Are you actually going to be proactive, which means that you're going to fix things before they actually happen, or you're going to be reactive, get sick, and then decide to heal yourself? Because I can tell you right now, it's a lot better to be proactive and make sure that you feed your body healthy foods to create really healthy cells that thrive in a world where, and especially in the Western world, we've become so busy that we don't have time to feed our bodies well. And that's actually not true, because it's just as fast to, throw a salad together or do a really quick stir fry, especially with these prepackaged like salads and things, than it is to just, throw a pizza in the oven or something like that, that basically has very little nutritional value in it, that is not going to make you healthy in the long run. And when you have children, whether they're large, medium, or small, young, medium, or old, the way you live, they're going to watch you, and they're going to see if you're a living example. They're going to want to be like that. So I've been running on my treadmill, and my son, he has stress and anxiety sometimes. It's an emotional feature of him, just the way he's wired for now, but we've been working with that. But he said to me that he finds that running really helps release the anxiety that he feels about some of the work he has to do for school, because he's so particular, and he holds it in, so that running helps push it out. And so he's working through it in a very physical way, which I find is very healthy, that when we add exercise to our lives, that we can become virtually stress-free, especially if you meditate and you exercise, and then, add the third component in, right? The food. Feed your body well. Make sure that you love it enough to take care of it, because as you age, you'll find that things don't work as well, because your body becomes more toxic. And while it's trying to get rid of the toxicity, you have to do something physical about it to help push it through. And you can also do it with your mind. You can do it through meditation. Here's an example. When I started running first, when my hip hurt, I would do a mantra as I ran. I'd build a pattern, and I'd say, I am strong, I am strong, I am strong. And I found that pain in the hip receded. But I've also done meditations and past life regression sessions about what is that pain in my hip, and where is it coming from? Does it have an emotional component to it? Usually, always. Is it someone who has attached to me, because that happens? Or, this is even better, and this is what I read in a book by Michael Newton. He's a past life regression hypnotherapist who is in the States. He has a program, an institute, the Michael Newton Institute, and he has, it's too late. Are you bringing the cat in? Dang! Anyways, one really book is Past Life Memories. So, I wanted to talk to you about Stripe, because, and I'm going to go over my 30 minutes, but that's okay. Okay, so Stripe is a kitty that when we moved onto this acreage 6 years ago, he was a kitten here, and we found him under the deck on May 23rd. I'll never forget it, because I was washing my front windows, and we could hear this meowing under the deck, and I thought it was just weird noises. But so we found him and his brothers, and I think he had one sister under there. So I gave 2 of the cats away, and I kept 3 of them, and he was one of them. So he's the last one left from those kitties that were born under the deck. They're feral kitties. They were, and this guy, not feral, but his mama was. So, and he said his dad too. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about him, because his brother Ginger went missing a while ago. I think it was last fall. And I noticed, like, Stripe has always been lean. He's been a lean cat, and he's kind of vain. He likes looking lean. But I noticed he started getting a belly. So he has a little bit of a pooch right now, and that's not normal for him. He hasn't really been like that before. So I thought, well, there's got to be a reason why. And I felt like the contributing factor was that his brother had gone into the woods and never came back. So I got the vision that his brother had been eaten by a coyote or a dog. But Stripe started putting on weight in his tummy area, and I thought, oh, well, that has to do with grieving, right? Our cats grieve and our pets grieve just like we do. And so I thought, I'm just going to give some Reiki to his belly, and I could feel I'm going to have to do that again. He said to me, no, not really. But I noticed that after I gave him Reiki in his belly decreased in size. And that was a wonderful thing. You know, if you have healing hands, oh, he's grabbing my pants. If you have healing hands, you can do that for your pet, right? If they've been suffering from something. And, oh, let's see what he does. Is he going to leave? Oh, yeah, he's going to leave. Okay, so I wanted Stripe to make a little appearance on this video just to tell you a little bit about his belly and how I helped him work through that. And he says he's grateful. He's thankful that he has a nice cushy home, even though he came from wildcat. He has wildcat history in his family. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be producing my next video, which is about the spirits. I'll be talking about whatever comes to mind. Maybe I'll be talking about ghosts and spirits. Thank you again.